Just threw it out there.
For the record.
Hey, we're live now.
We're just we're like, we should go live here in 5 minutes.
Thank
He's
God
like,
we
"Yeah,
were
we're going
prepared."
live now. Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome in.
That was
Abrupt. That was abrupt.
Just a little.
Okay, Boomer.
Let you guys under the hood earlier before you showed up. Blake, Mike's like, we need some pep music. Turns on Adele, someone like you, and then when he realized it wasn't peppy enough, he turned into Rolling in the Deep. So,
Is there any
I
song
didn't
from
cry.
Adele that's peppy?
no,
Aren't they all like sad songs about being broken up with?
pretty much, yeah. What peps me up about it is turning it off. So, and we did
Best
that.
part about it was the end.
We did just that. Hey, guys, while we're waiting here to get the show out, just want to let you know, check out @BigPlay_com. Send out a tweet at 6 o'clock for a really cool giveaway we're doing with our partner, Saucy Brew Works.
Yep.
If you retweet and follow them, you can win 4 tickets. So you got to be local. 4 tickets to a Cleveland Monsters game tomorrow night. And you also get a $25 gift card courtesy of Saucy Brew Works. So check that out.
Oh yeah, that'll pay
Yeah.
for a beer too and one of the
Beer?
pizzas.
Pizza?
Their
Yeah.
pizza's awesome.
Maybe a Bavarian pretzel.
There you go.
Now you're talking. Even a shirt. You can buy some merch there.
There you go.
Yeah. Little, what's it, Reuben, the logo?
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff down there. But check it out. Check out their website, too.
All right.
We ready, Michael?
Do it.
Foul in, Playmakers. Let us know you're here. Shout us out. Leave us a remark, a question. We're going live. Hello. Wow. I should work in hockey.
I thought you were going to.
Dude, you just cut me
Wow.
off. That was a
Wow.
record one.
Wow.
Welcome to the
Rude.
Big Play Podcast, where our producer is a nice guy, but he pulls shit once in a while, man. I don't know about
I get
that.
feisty.
Woo.
Yeah, that was.
You're like my toddler.
That was almost abrupt as the stream start.
It is. Anyways, we are a little behind, so we're going to roll in here fast and deep, kind of like the song that Mike played to get us fired up, quote unquote, rolling in deep. That was not good. We won't roll with that ever again. It is Wednesday, November 20th, pre-Thanksgiving edition, our last edition before the Thanksgiving holiday of the Big Play Podcast. I'm your host, The Big Play J. Follow me on Twitter at The Big Play J. The gentleman to my left, the proud Massillon Tiger, ready for the final 8. What was it? Tuition versus...
Tradition versus tuition.
Wow. So we're
Bring
looking
it
forward to
on.
that. We'll be at the game on Friday,
Friday,
as a
yeah.
matter of fact, both of us. He's about to get a new nickname, which I have to look up because it's been so long I've been thinking about.
Boy.
He is Steak and Blake.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
No? Good?
Yeah, I like that one.
Pretty good restaurant, too.
Yeah, not a
I
bad
like
one.
that butter burger. Anyways, the gentleman to my right here, as he looks at me, look at that Macho Man shirt. Yeah.
Freak out.
He is, he's our resident millennial. He is the brunch bomber. Big Play Beats.
I will take
What is
that
how you like
again.
that
You
one?
keep giving me ones I
Little
really
play on the
enjoy.
Yanks,
Yeah.
Bronx Bomber.
The brunch bomber.
I really do enjoy that.
Yeah,
I
okay,
used to
I'm
swing
going
for
to
the
circle
fences,
it
you
right
know.
here. Circle
Brunch
it.
bomber.
I think you need a little shake with that steak and Blake.
What?
What? What?
Shake with the steak and Blake.
That's why you're not in charge
I love
of
their
nicknames
milkshakes.
around
I
here.
Oh
love
yeah,
their
they have
milkshakes.
great milkshakes.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure where he was
So
going
many
with that. I
flavors
thought he
on
wanted
it,
me to
yeah.
get up and do a dance.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the
nobody
Playmakers
wants to
would
see
like
that.
it.
It would
Yeah,
bring all the
they
boys
would.
to the yard. So will this
Possibly.
lineup, guys. Let's get right into it. Of course, we got to talk about a special beer by our buddies at Saucy Brew Works. Spoiler alert, it's Out Lager in tonight's fuel. Contender Pretender, a lot to dissect here, including we got to figure out, are the Ravens the best team in the NFL? Don't give your answer yet, Blake. Come on.
Find out.
And Fantasy Locks, we are approaching the playoffs in most leagues. We're going to give you some folks to get on your bench in the waiver wire to help you win your league. Hell no, hell yeah. It was a very interesting week with the Colin Kaepernick situation. A horrific injury in the college football ranks that we have to dissect. And on deck, we've got a great Big Ten matchup and a really fun matchup between the Niners and the Packers we got to talk about.
Yep.
And final say, we're going to keep it a little lighthearted this week with our closing arguments.
I'm excited for
Are
this.
you going to be a nice guy, Mike?
No, I'm going to be a real jerk.
Yeah, you've been a real
Of course.
this whole night. But before we get into that and Mike is a real biatch, let's find out what is fueling tonight's show.
Today's secret ingredient is
Scallop! Mushroom! Pizza dough! Hamburger!
today's secret ingredient is
Oh, yeah. It might be cold outside, but it's never a bad time to enjoy a delicious, smooth Mexican-style beer. Kind of puts you in the vacation mindset, right?
Yeah, it's always summertime in the
El
Big Play Studio.
Lager. Mike, thoughts?
I love it.
I'm just going to go to you randomly because I know how fired up you are,
I'm really
and
worked
I just
up.
want to put you on the spot.
You are.
Yeah.
You're on one. Hair's on fire tonight, this guy.
It's a really... Oh, hair's on fire. I want to set
Why
fire...
did he look at you?
I want to set fire to the
He
ring.
looked at
Give
he
the
looked at
Adele
you like he was going
reference.
to ask you
Yeah.
to prom or
Yeah.
something right there. He's
no-
so handsome.
I was trying to set fire to the rain like Adele.
Oh, my God. Let's
I
just
think
stop
I'm...
this right
You guys
now.
really want to...
I teed that up.
Yeah,
My bad.
A little bit.
No.
All right.
Anyways.
It's a fantastic
All right,
lager.
This is one of my
Easily
favorite
very
ones by
great
them,
drink.
though, honestly.
Yeah, this is delicious. So it kind of a Corona-esque, a little lighter in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
4.1%. It's got a touch of Mexican maize. That is corn, by the way.
Maize.
Not an awful... What movie was that?
Grown Ups.
Maize, yeah.
Grown-ups.
Not a reference to an awful college football uniform color, right?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, that's fake. That's
It's yellow,
not real.
let's face it.
Anyways, check them out at Saucy Brew Works on Twitter. Go to their brew pub in Cleveland, soon one here in Columbus. And as I mentioned earlier in our intro, check out our tweet from the BigPlay_com Twitter account. 6 o'clock, you can win some free Saucy Brew Works and some tickets to the Monsters game
For tomorrow, right?
for tomorrow night.
Heck yeah, 4 tickets.
Winner to be announced tomorrow at noon. So check that out.
Yes,
Yeah.
get in there.
And if you win, you have to take all three of us. So there you go. That's
right.
Hopefully just one person goes.
I'll buy the first round of beers at least.
Date night with the Big Play
Actually, they
Podcast
will
crew.
because they're going to have a gift card. So
True.
Thanks, Saucy.
yeah, isn't this great?
I love it.
We're the worst friends ever. Anyways, let's transition, Michael. Let's talk pretender contender. You know, it's funny. I know we're late because wifey always hits me up with a text. Are you guys going on tonight? Or are you coming home? Yeah. Well,
I get the same one.
sorry, you have to listen.
Hi,
hon.
hon.
Anyways, Blake, are you ready for contender pretender?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, first one, Blake. The Ravens, the NFL's best team.
Pretender.
Oh,
But it's close.
okay.
But it's close. They're the second best team just solely because of the Patriots.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that sets them apart from New England in my mind right now, the Ravens passing defense ranks in the bottom half of the league.
Okay.
So they've given up 238.6 yards per game, which makes them 15th worst in the league. So, and I think the Patriots were number 1 or 2 in that category. So, you know, in terms of the best team, I look at a team that's well-rounded, and the Patriots are just a more well-rounded team at this point. Now, obviously, they had the game a couple weeks ago, and I think the playoffs.
Yes.
I think the Ravens will give them fits, but until and I said it on our first podcast of the NFL season, to beat the man or to be the man, you have to beat the man,
Right.
and they beat him, but let's see it when it counts.
Yeah. Well, if I think if this question is rephrased, best team now, maybe your answer might
right
be
now,
a little bit different.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Fair enough.
they're getting hot right now. Yes.
All right, let's talk college football. Jonathan Taylor, tailback, will leave college as the all-time leading rusher.
Pretender, but I think this is a bit of an unfair question because of how because now
Mike asked. I'm kidding.
But
Anyway.
but I think it's a bit of an unfair question because college football and really athletes in general have changed so much in the last, let's say, even 15, 20 years. So, Herschel Walker, he just passed Herschel Walker
Right.
For the most yards through their junior year, which is a huge accomplishment. Don't get me wrong. But right now, the current leader as far as career is Donnell Pumphrey, 6,405 yards, which leaves him at 784 to go.
Sure.
Best case scenario, he's got 4 games left.
Mm-hmm.
One of which would be against Ohio State, he has not done well against.
No.
And the second one would be a bowl game versus somebody you would assume is a decent opponent.
Right.
So not a Purdue or a Nebraska or
Sure.
Somebody who he's ran all over. Now, having said that, back in 2018, he did run for 381 yards against Purdue, and that's one of his last 2 Big Ten games left. So it's not, I say pretender because the odds are not in his favor, but it's not impossible.
It's
by any means.
conceivable.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, completely conceivable at this point. Getting there by the end of this year, because let's face it, he's probably going to declare. So getting there by the end of this season, probably not. The numbers would say no.
Sure.
Impossible, no. The thing that actually becomes more of a telling stat to me is the yards per game, which if you take his career games divided by the yardage divided by career games, 152.27 higher than anybody else in the top 5 in total career yardage.
Right.
See, that is impressive.
Yes, it is.
That is a more impressive stat to me because I think the leader, Pumphrey, I forget how many games he played in, but it's like 20 more.
Well, things have changed a little bit since Pumphrey's day in that they do now throw the football downfield, too.
Right.
So philosophies
Well, no,
have changed a
Pumphrey,
little bit.
he did that. It was like 2-3 years ago. He set that record.
Wait,
but that's also because he played like 5 years at San Diego
Right,
State.
he did play
He
5 years.
used every last minute of that eligibility. But my point is, because he's going to play in far fewer games and still is in that top 5. He's definitely going to be in the top 5 when it's all said and done. But the fact that he's done that in, 30, 40 games as opposed to these 50, high 50s amount of games.
The guys
other
getting
guys have.
30
Yeah,
sometimes
I
as a
mean,
game,
it's,
sometimes,
that's more impressive to me.
All right. You know it was impressive, too. Pat McAfee's belly flop on College Game Day.
This was great.
There's only one way to answer this, but go
absolute
ahead.
contender.
Right.
For belly flop of the year.
How many jobs does this guy have, by the way? NXT.
He's a busy man.
He's got the DAZN show.
Mm-hmm.
He does
His
ESPN
podcast.
College Football.
Yeah, he still does his podcast, right?
Yeah, does his podcast.
Yeah. Maybe we can get that belly flop of the year.
I like that.
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah,
should be at
belly-
the ESPYs.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Should-
not
should
counting.
Should that be a big play thing?
I would give it.
Submit your belly flops.
Submit your belly
Do
flops.
we have to start it, though?
Right.
Like, we would probably have to go and do it. I have no shame.
I'm down.
I
Not
was
right
gonna
now.
say, I have no
Blake's-
shame.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Blake's a little
Blake's
cold.
I'm out.
immediately like, no, I have a little bit of self-respect.
Yeah. All right, Michael, you're on, brother. After another lackluster offensive performance by the Patriots, an early playoff exit is a legit concern here.
I'd say pretender. I don't think they wanted to show too much to the Ravens. I think they know they're going to get to the playoffs. I don't think they want to give too much away. And then the thing I want to talk about is it is a 1-game week or season every week of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And who else would you want than Bill Belichick to do that? Match somebody up, find it, and then he has a very special tool in his belt. Stephon Gilmore.
You're a special tool. Michael Scott
I take
said
that as
once.
I think there's a term of endearment from you, I think.
Right. Oh, thanks.
I mean, let's look at how good Stephon Gilmore is. His catch rate allowed, and this guy he is following the best receiver on the other team each week.
Right.
48.2% when they target them. Less than 50% of the time they're doing. That's number 4 in all cornerbacks. Passer rating allowed, 41.1. That is number 1. So these are little advanced stats that I think you look at it. And if you want our fantasy people, don't play a receiver against Stephon Gilmore. Number 3 out of all cornerbacks for points given up at 0.23 per cover snap.
Yeah.
That's really impressive. Yeah. So I think that's the big reason why, because I think it's going to be like the old school Patriots. They're going to get to the end of the game and let TB12 win it at the end. But the defense is going to do the work up
Let's talk
front.
college football, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma rallying from a 25-point deficit. This was a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
To beat undefeated Baylor on the road was the greatest comeback of college football season.
I think it is a contender. I don't think you're going to beat that comeback this season.
No,
And
God.
for a team that, honestly, playoff implications at that point. Baylor was, I think, the only team who had a shot left in the Big 12 at this point. And they had everything going for them. The big lead, they're at home. Matt Rule had their guys playing well. And then the second half happened. I don't even know how they fell apart.
Yeah.
'Cause it wasn't like Jalen Hurts did his part. He fumbled in a goal-to-go situation.
Yeah.
It was I really wanted to see Baylor pull this off. It would have thrown off the playoff situation at the end of the year.
And Baylor did everything you and I discussed last week about as far as making Hurts uncomfortable, creating turnovers, and it still wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. They just fell apart in the second half. Oklahoma got back to running the ball. I don't think you're going to beat that this year. Definitely a contender.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, and a little NBA. Melo will fit in fine with Dame and the Trailblazers.
It's like a pretender to me. Where does he fit in somewhere? Like, when's the last time he really fit
with
in?
Lala? I mean, he does. Let's be honest.
I mean, even that's rocky sometimes.
What if I would ask
in the off season?
Hoodie Melo fit in?
Oh, I love
a hoodie Melo fits in with any team.
Hoodie Melo.
Yeah. I feel like if I was an NBA player, I would always rock a hoodie before a game. I feel like you have to have some sort of mystique or something to it. I don't know. I would enjoy it. But no, I don't think, when's the last time he fit in somewhere? He did say something about where the transparency this time has been different. So he's accepting the role. But, I mean, where did he think he was in his career the last few years? I think, is he unrealistic? I think he was. Maybe he finally had that reality check. I'm not buying it, though.
Oh, Mike, he's a 3-time Olympic champion. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't like hoodies because I always feel like it's a shirt that chases you, right? It's right behind you. Get off my back, fool. Anyways.
All right. Right. I'm coming at you after that with NFL. After his latest performance, Dak.
Don't even comment.
I literally tried not to. You got me right now.
Yeah. Hoodies. I've just never been a fan. Anyways,
I feel like Dave wants to chime in.
You have a lot of good jokes.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that was one.
I'm not a fan. It's like it's a shirt that's chasing your ass.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no, get out of here.
Next bit.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So Dak, he after his latest performances, I should say, will that earn him the highest QB salary in history this offseason?
Yeah, well, and it's not so much. And Dak is on the greatest run of his career. The Dallas Cowboys are the most productive offense in football right now, and it goes back to something we talked about a while ago: market price. Right? You go to a restaurant. You see it's on there. God, don't order it, by the way. I did that on my second date with my wife. Ended up working out, obviously. But
so wait.
It ended up being really expensive. But he just happens to be...
Got to save that money.
He happens to be a wanted commodity at a time where price is a moving target, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's going to get paid. And good for him, by the way. Dak's never done anything wrong. Good citizens, good quarterback. Led my fantasy team pretty damn well.
Yeah.
Great value pick there.
Yeah. So,
nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My man's going to get paid.
Okay.
How about them Cowboys, Michael?
We'll go to the NCAA here. A little football, a little college football. Throw it back your way. Pac-12 team making it into the college football player. Pretender, contender.
Big factor here. I'm going to give it a contender, right? So you've got Oregon at 6, Utah at 7. Oregon currently ahead of them in the Pac-12 standings. They're going to meet, though. I think LSU is going to beat Georgia in the SEC title game, right? So Georgia's gone. At that point, there's 2 losses. Alabama's going to go undefeated. So then you get into the scenario, the committee's going to have a decision. Do you put a 1-loss Alabama team without Tua in? Or a 1-loss Oregon team? Remember their only loss was the first game of the season, kind of a mixed bag, a neutral site game.
Ranked opponent.
Their loss was bad, though. USC has been as tumultuous as a team can be. But I think Oregon is the better overall team here, if you look at the Pac-12. But Utah is another person. God, if they win that Pac-12 title game, put them in. They'd be so entertained. They're the 4th-ranked D. Their defensive line is one of the best units you've seen in college football in a long time. They're averaging 55.4 rush yards a game. That's unbelievable. Where you go, Oregon, you got the number 21 defense. Justin Herbert's a very legit NFL quarterback that's being projected to do very well. So the committee's going to have an interesting decision. Do you go blue blood or do you let the West Coast have their chance? It's going to be fun.
I think I know I would land on that.
What's that?
I think you go blue blood here.
Do you?
Yeah,
you
could.
would.
Yeah.
Do you cheer for Coke and Pepsi? Are you a big Boeing fan? What? Do you like Apple? Come on.
Second one of the night.
Give someone else a chance.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You think so?
Give the Pac-12
I would like to see Utah with that defense.
Yes.
I do not want to see
Be
Oregon.
fun.
Here's the way I look at that. Who would win in that game right now, Oregon or Alabama?
Oregon or Alabama?
If they had
Probably
to do a play in
Alabama.
game, if they had to do a
This
play
week?
in game right now,
I don't have faith in Oregon in that game.
I don't either.
think
I
it'd be
thought
Alabama.
Herbert hasn't showed enough yet for me.
that's where I land. I don't like it. I hate the fact that it's going to be Alabama. But
I agree.
But the way I look at it is if you have teams that are 4, 5, and 6 that are arguably deserving of the spot, how would they fare against each other?
Yeah.
Is this a good year to do it though? If I'm in the committee as well,
I think you have
That's
an
where
excuse.
I think this is a good year to do it with Tua being out.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
a course
That's
of
true.
action.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Business sense. I think it's a great story.
Well, Saban will be out campaigning. This is what
Is
he
it business
does.
sense?
it's
though?
time. Oh, business sense. Oregon travels. Utah doesn't as well, right?
Yeah, Bama's your guaranteed commodity.
Oh,
though.
you are.
Yeah,
I agree
that's
there. I
true.
agree. All right, Jay, let's get in the NWA. NWA.
Let's
go.
do it.
Let's
NWA
go.
power. Yeah,
Let's
under
go.
a lot of
NB
little fire right now.
I was thinking Eazy-E, man. I was going with Eazy-E, Dre.
Right.
Sorry.
I cruised here in my 6'4", you know.
Yes. All right. NBA.
Actually, my
Sorry for
my 15 C-Max, so quite the opposite.
I love it. It's very efficient.
He's eco-friendly.
It's my wife's car in my defense, but I drive it a lot. Anyways.
All right, NBA. Paul George is a strong candidate for the way too early NBA MVP. Pretender.
Pretender. I mean, he's only played 3 games, but all indications are that as the season goes on, he will be. You know, that second game versus the Hawks was unbelievable. We had 37 points in 20 minutes, which is the most in NBA history under 21 minutes. That's a Clipper record for most points in a home debut. Also a record for the most points in his first 2 games. He hit a dagger 3 to beat the Thunder the other night. God, this guy's averaging 29.3 points per game so far in this young season, and he's hitting 52.2% of his threes. So he's unbelievable. He's Paul George. This is the guy we knew.
Yeah.
You know, now the nation's seeing him. He's got a nicer stage. Good for him.
I heard that some of their executives were upset that they have to play him and Kawhi tonight. They're essentially saying they have to please Adam Silver.
Come on.
Oh, that's a stretch.
Load
Yeah.
management.
Yeah.
It is load management.
Hashtag load management.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's talk fantasy football, Michael. All right, who do I got here? Guys, it's an interesting time of the year. Some people, some
That it
leagues
is.
starting the playoffs in week 13, others in 14, like myself. I've heard of leagues starting them this week, too, as well.
That's a
Kind of
little early.
odd. It's early. But anyways, my pick this week, boy, this is broad. Any running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers that is healthy. They're playing the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals are giving up 173 yards in the ground, which is the most in the NFL. Jalen Samuels, especially if you're in a PPR league, you want to pick this guy up. He's still available in 27% of fantasy leagues in Yahoo, which is kind of surprising. He had 10.3 points versus the Browns, which is not a game that they exactly were on fire offensively. He had a TD catch. If he's not there, consider Trey Edmonds as a guy to store on your bench, and maybe if you've got some injuries, you plug him in. He's only owned in 3% of Yahoo fantasy teams, and he's the number 2 running back right now. Could be a strong flex play if you got to. This is, so we still have some buys this week. And
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be such a value, even if like you're in daily fantasy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's right on point.
Thanks, Michael.
Blake.
Blake, what about you, brother?
So I went this week. I was trying to pull up his owned percentage on ESPN.
No, I can do
but
that for you.
Bears running back Tariq Cohen had a pretty slow start to the year. He saw an increase in touches last week. He got 9 carries, which was the lion's share of the carries last week. Now, David Montgomery was fighting an injury, so that had a little bit to do with it.
Sure.
But he's got a touchdown each of the last 2 games. And let's face it, the Bears are kind of in a panic mode, right? Right. So I think what they're going to do with the natural, reaction would be is to go back to what worked last year, which was getting him heavily involved. Allowing him to be that outlet, allowing him to be that safety blanket for Mitch Trubisky. So I can see his production increasing. They're also playing the Giants this week, who are 10th worst against the run with over 122 yards per game allowed.
Right.
So
Tariq Cohen owned in 63% of leagues.
okay,
That's
so
pretty
that's
low.
nice.
So
Yeah,
available in
that's pretty
37.
low.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's a waiver pickup. I was
This is
worried
a
he wouldn't be considered a waiver pickup, but yeah,
No.
I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, so that's my guy this week. I think with Montgomery being banged up and them wanting to go kind of back to what Trubisky was comfortable doing, I think he has a big week.
All right, Mike. What about you, brother?
I'm going to one. He's only rostered in 4.1% of ESPN leagues.
Wow, you?
Oh my God! If I got 4.1%,
Damn,
I would. What would you do?
More
if
than
you
Trey
were rostered
Edmonds.
by like any league, if any team, any fantasy team
I
outside
would.
of like a person you do?
What was the question, sorry?
If you are rostered, like you
Good point.
specifically, I would be
Well, it's
pumped.
not possible.
I would
but
celebrate it.
hypothetically.
They might.
Dude, you're acting like me right now.
Just add
move
him on.
on.
I would be pumped. Anyways, sorry. This guy, Jeff Driscoll,
Oh,
4.1%. He's starting because Matthew Stafford's banged up.
Mm-hmm.
16 points 2 weeks ago, 27 last week, and he's got Washington this week.
Yep. Extremely mobile quarterback too.
Extremely.
Right?
That's what I love about it because
Yep.
even if he's a little off, he is going to move. He's going to get downfield. He's going to get first downs and move the chains. He's going to extend those, get him in the red zone a little bit. And the Skins aren't exactly the best team. So,
Right.
I'm a
Is
big fan of
Jeff Driscoll the guy from Florida?
yeah.
He is awful.
He was definitely bad. He was
He had a
definitely
good
bad
game
at
last
Florida, but
week.
I think that was when Florida was bad.
Because he was with
He's like a poor
Cincinnati
man's
last
Rex
year.
Grossman
Yeah.
from Florida.
Right.
Oh, Rex Grossman went to a Super Bowl though, didn't he?
Yeah. Guys,
Count 'em
while we're on the subject of playoffs, who are some other folks in your mind that you're storing on your bench right now? Maybe you have them right now for the playoffs, just for that longer run.
I grabbed Hollister, tight end in Seattle.
Yep. Jacob Hollister.
Okay.
D.D.
he's a good
Westbrook's another guy that comes to mind.
I'm ashamed to admit,
Let's hear it.
in my keeper league, I picked up Antonio Brown.
What?
I'm ashamed to admit it.
Is it an XFL league or what?
No,
Are you looking to be the playoffs?
Uh-huh.
All right.
So
you have a strong
it's
team.
Not crazy.
So you don't. It's a roster
strong
spot
team.
you probably
it's
don't.
a roster spot I didn't really need,
Yeah.
and it's a keeper league.
Yeah.
So
Why not?
and I don't have to. And the way our keeper league works, you don't have to turn in your players until 1 week before the next draft.
Okay.
So theoretically, if I have him and if all he's costing me is a roster spot, he ends up with
Yeah.
back in New England, Pittsburgh.
That's not happening.
But nonetheless, if he ends up on a team where he could have some success, I mean, hey, all it cost me was a roster
fair.
spot.
So
So
that's not crazy.
in any other format, I wouldn't have done it.
No.
Any other
I
format
gotcha.
would not have done it. But a keeper league, keep 6 guys.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a great part of our format, let's go to hell no, hell yeah, Michael.
Let me get there. I was actually going to say,
What
my
were you
boy
gonna
Ryan
say?
Tannehill down the stretch. You need a streamer.
God,
Very
is
positive
there?
matchups.
By the way, is there a team you distrust more than anyone on that roster right now?
Oh, yeah.
The Titans are just.
They're Jekyll and Hyde every week.
You never know.
Jekyll and Hyde every week. Somebody send him a Ryan Tannehill jersey.
Yeah,
I would
you
love
are
it.
kind of that guy.
Why not? I'll
Would
take
you
a free
rock a
jersey.
Titans Ryan Tannehill jersey?
Yeah. So
Of
I
course-
actually
of
always
course you
loved
would.
those old.
Of course you would.
Well, I want to say I always liked the Titans when they moved over there. and
What's your
Eddie
record
George.
like in that league?
Oh, I'm on the I'm like the.
Are
probably
you
third
are
or
you in the
fourth place,
upper
too.
echelon, as they say?
Right now I'm in the playoffs.
He's a contender.
Look at he's a contender.
Not
I'm a
pretender.
contender.
He's
Ooh.
a definite contender.
I like what you guys did there.
Look at that.
Who's your other quarterback? Because it's a 2-quarterback league,
That's a
right?
2-quarterback league. I had Uncle Phil. I've been very disappointed with him, but I also have Derek Carr, and he's actually been doing well.
Wait, Derek
Your
Carr or
cars are
Derek Carter?
Your quarterbacks are Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill, and you're in the playoffs.
jeez.
Yeah.
Who the hell else is
Well,
on
their
your team?
value. They do well enough. Quarterbacks, the difference between that top tier. Now, I would love to have, like, in my other league, I have Russell Wilson. I'm stoked about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's my dilemma this week. I have Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson on my team. Who do you start?
How do you end up with that?
Well,
I picked Lamar up week 1, and we have a $100 budget for free agents every year, and I spent like $25 on
I'm
him.
surprised you were sitting there. Wow. Okay.
They're playing
well-
basically the same team.
Yeah.
Statistically.
I just think the Philly Seattle score will be a little spread out. I think that Rams Ravens score is going to be a little closer, so it might be a little more passing. You said
I don't know.
you-
Jackson.
You said it earlier that Jackson's ceiling is probably
His
higher.
ceiling
You're
is higher
Probably
fantasy-wise.
safer with Wilson, but the
Yes.
ceiling's higher with Jackson.
If you said I need a quarterback to win a game, Russell Wilson's your answer. You're
Right.
in a tight spot. But if you're looking for a fantasy quarterback with the highest ceiling, maybe ever, in a fantasy quarterback,
Yeah.
Jackson's your guy.
so
I'd
it's safe to
start
say
him.
it's a coin flip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd do Jackson.
Since you're a Seattle fan, I'd go Jackson as well. Because if something bad happens to
I'm gonna
Seahawks,
be
it just
so
it
mad.
hedges your bets.
And I
You
have
don't
Wilson, and I have Wilson in another league that I have to start him because my other quarterback is Matt Stafford. So don't let him beat me in two.
Jeff Driscoll.
Well, no one likes to
If-
show off.
depending how
like
deep of
first
a
off.
league, how deep it is. You know?
It's that same keeper league.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's usually fine.
I'm not picking up Jeff Driscoll.
No, I wouldn't either. All right, let's go to
All right,
hell
now
no,
let's
hell yeah.
transition to hell no, hell yeah.
was going to say, you play the power flute very well. I wondered how your air guitar was.
Power whistle. Did you hear that one? Most annoying guy in the office. Anyways, guys, we're not going to cover these things ad nauseum because Lord knows every pundit has, but we have to talk about a couple things, right? Mm-hmm. Mike, we've seen the video at this point over and over again, and over the weekend the verdict came down, or it's soon to, he's suspended indefinitely. Hell no, hell yeah. Did the punishment fit the crime for Myles Garrett?
Oh, this is hell. Who the hell knows? But I'm going to go with
hell no to the no.
Honestly, I don't know what to do here. First off, you have the history of the NFL, right? They are so inconsistent.
Yeah.
I mean, we have guys in the past doing it 1 to 2 games. You have the rule for a reason, apparently. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden they immediately lash out, give him all this stuff. Marquise Pouncey, who I think actually should be lightened, and I'm different than most people on that. I know that. But at the end of the day, he did something that could have killed someone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, if you want to be consistent, you should do less. Mm-hmm. If you want to go to the gravity of the matter, I mean,
you should do more.
It's probably fair.
Good at that point.
At that point. So it's like, I don't know. And honestly, it's Goodell in the NFL. I have no clue what they're going to do.
I thought the more appropriate thing, and I'll be quick, I thought the more appropriate thing would have been to put a hard number on it. Mm-hmm. You're suspended for 8.
Right.
And then he could appeal it down to 4 or 6.
Right.
That would have been, in a perfect world, the scenario that I thought it was worthy of.
I almost feel like the indefinite up front was to send a message hey, you could not come back. We have this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, yeah, I almost feel like they wanted to dangle it or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Send the message. Well, we await and we're supposed to find out, according to a lot of good sourcing, either tomorrow or Friday.
Yep.
So
they said 2 days. Yep.
We'll find out soon. Blake, in a very sad story that overshadowed Oklahoma's comeback, unfortunately. A banged-up Tua was carted off the field Saturday with a dislocated hip. Blake, hell no, hell yeah. Will Tua now be seen as damaged goods in the eyes of the NFL teams interested in his services?
I really wish I could say hell no, but it's a hell yeah.
Yep.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
For those of you that saw the injury, it was bad.
Yeah.
And reports of him screaming in agony, being carted off and getting taken off the cart. I mean, it's just it's a really tough scene when you think of it in that light. It's the same injury that ended Bo Jackson's career. Now we talked about this before the show went on. We're 25, 30 years advanced into medicine now.
Yes.
And they got, and you medical scholars out there for you to correct me, but they got Tua's injury set back so that something called a vascular necrosis didn't set in, which is basically death of bone tissue due to lack of blood in layman's terms.
Wow,
So
Blake, bringing the knowledge.
Yeah, man. So basically what that did was make Bo Jackson's bones degenerative. So they beat it to the punch for Tua. So everything we're seeing, surgery went well Monday. Should be back throwing in 3 months or so.
Okay.
Is what they're saying. So should be back throwing before the spring. Probably not for any of the combines or anything like that. I wouldn't think.
Right.
But here's my concern. When you look at a quarterback and look at Dak Prescott's warm up the other night, all of your torque, all of your launch comes from that torque on your hips and your abdomen and kind of that hole where everything's connected there, your rump, so to speak.
Right.
So this injury could be enough to affect him in his everyday life for the rest of his life.
True.
Let alone trying to push a football down the field. Right. So it's a really sad and unfortunate circumstance. And I really hope, best vibes his way. I really hope it doesn't end up being this way, but I think it's going to have an impact on his draft stock. But I still hope he has a successful career. You'd hate to see something like this ruin something so promising.
Me too. Yeah, guy, probably the biggest phenom we've seen in college sports
in recent memory.
Absolutely, most polarizing, probably since Tebow. Quite frankly,
you think polarizing?
Think about it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know about polarizing, but definitely a conversation starter.
Sure.
I mean,
it was a genius move if you look at when his initial playing, right, when he stepped in for Hurts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's where I feel like that's where I forgot about that. I was like, why is it? Oh, that looks a little more
How
sense.
much of this do you put on Saban?
They were practicing 2-minute drill. So it's like you want to be ready for the big game, the moment you need to be, but
here's what I always would tell people like that, or tell people that would blame the coach. he could get hit by a bus walking outside the stadium afterwards.
That's true.
So it was a freak injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the play was kind of a bang play. It wasn't
Right.
It wasn't something like crazy off the wall that happened.
Right.
So I don't blame Nick Saban. I think
No.
I think blaming him is just silly. Could have he been out of the game? Sure, but it was still 35-7. I mean, it wasn't like they were up 60.
Well,
I mean,
Yeah.
and
A
it
part
was-
of it is too, Blake, blame the system, because now that Alabama has one loss, they need some style points.
Yep.
They do.
Yep.
So Saban and Tua are well aware that the kid's going to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
The kid's
fair.
going to play.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
I said. I don't blame Saban at all.
No.
He could have got hurt the first play of the game of the college football playoff. You can't predict that. You can't play with fear of injury.
Right. Let's say, hypothetically, and hopefully, of course, that he recovers well. He's fine. He's able to go on and have a productive NFL career. From a draft perspective, this isn't the worst thing to happen to the guy.
No, and we discussed it earlier. You know, what if he ends up with an LA Chargers?
Yeah, to
a
the
New England
Chargers,
Patriot.
someone
A lot
like
better
10
than
to
the Bengals,
15.
right?
Yeah.
Lot
I
better
mean,
than the
who would you
Dolphins,
rather
right?
play for
It's
right now?
not
The
the worst
Chargers,
thing.
the Bengals, the Dolphins.
And where you
Right.
land is such a big deal. Yeah.
People like to bring up again that Lamar Jackson went, 22nd in the
31
draft?
teams passed
Yeah,
on him.
yeah,
Yeah.
a bunch of
Some
different
twice.
teams passed. Yeah, and it's worked out for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, complain all you
Who's
want.
in a better
but
situation than that guy right now of that draft class?
No one. No one.
Maybe Josh Allen. But no,
Nah, I don't
I
think
mean,
so.
that,
I think
I'm saying,
Lamar's
Not
better.
talent.
I
Talent-wise or
agree.
coaching.
I agree, but I'm saying like that would be the next closest, probably,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
agreed.
I would have
Josh
said going into the year, everybody would have said Baker.
Mm-hmm.
He got
Right.
paid up front. They look good. But right
Yeah.
now, Browns are a mess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear
All right,
you.
Jay.
He's an MVP candidate.
Speaking
Yeah.
of messes,
Yeah, I
Michael.
was going to say a mess. It was definitely a circus.
Hey.
The Colin Kaepernick workout. It ended with only a handful of NFL teams taking in Cap's workout from an Atlanta area high school. Jay, hell no, hell yeah. Does this latest fiasco mark the end of Kaepernick's NFL comeback?
I think hell yeah.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
And we're not going to get political with this in any way, shape, or form. But I was generally happy for the guy
Yeah.
when I found out this was going to happen. I said, great, he's going to finally get his chance to put tangible results on a field
Sure.
for NFL teams. And there were rumored 26 teams were coming. After 3 seasons out of the league, I was like, great for him. But leading up to it, there was just so much misinformation.
Yeah.
And you didn't know where it was coming from. Was it Kaepernick's camp? Was it the NFL, right? So why Saturday? Something came up. NFL teams are off Tuesday. Why aren't they doing it Tuesday? Why is the NFL even doing this to begin with? Who's going to attend? Why not all the teams?
Right.
Why are the certain teams coming that are?
Why is there no media allowed?
Who's videotaping? Why are they videotaping?
And then,
The waiver.
Yes,
The
that's
waiver
the
turned
one.
into the biggest issue. There was rumors that there's more verbiage than what's typical of an NFL waiver.
it really seemed like they were setting themselves up, right? The
Yeah.
NFL?
Yeah.
That's the issue right there.
And now you hear conflicting information. The waiver wasn't atypical as compared to the usual
Right.
waiver for such an event. And where did this end up ultimately, guys? There's no winners here. By all intents and purposes, what people have said that were there, the guy looked good.
Yeah.
The guy threw the ball well. He looked like
in
one
shape.
exec said that he could play for an NFL team now, quite frankly. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I saw a lot of guys out there who judge quarterback talent.
Yeah.
And they said minimally he would be a backup.
Yeah.
Some were saying at this point with some of the backups who are playing, he'd be starting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but
Yeah.
with this situation, is it both sides here?
That's
I
it.
hate
And we're
saying
going
that.
to, everyone's
Yeah,
going
I
to take
think it
time
is.
to assign blame at
Yeah.
this point.
I think it is. I mean, both sides are so caught up in the what's the word I want to use? They're so caught up in the situation or the press or what's going to go out to the public rather than getting this guy on a team. And let's face it, I think all three of us are in agreement. He belongs on an NFL roster.
God,
hell
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Think of who started this year, right?
Yeah. Would you say he's better than Ryan Fitzpatrick and
Yes.
Yes.
Josh Rosen?
Yes.
Is he better than Andy Dalton and not Ryan Lloyd?
He's better than Jeff Driscoll.
Better than Jeff
Better than
Driscoll.
Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah.
Is he better than is he better than Mason Rudolph?
Yes.
I mean, you tell me the Steelers couldn't have benefited from that guy this year?
That's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It's true.
Here's the other question: if he would get signed by a team, who do you think makes the most sense?
There's a few that would make sense right now, but
Oh, wow.
it's got to be, I think, tenured head coach, stable organization.
Okay,
San Francisco
I'm
would be a
with-
nice backup.
I don't know.
If you're going for a
back
backup
there.
or starter,
To go back to San Fran?
that's I don't think it's going to fit with that. But I'm saying as a team wise,
Right.
it would be a good idea.
I think it's all for naught because I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it is
You
either,
know?
but I'm saying if it would, who do you think makes the most sense?
I'm trying to think as a backup because I think that's where
Yeah,
he really
it's
would land.
definitely a backup.
Chicago Bears.
Chicago
Oh,
is
yes.
that's a good
Chicago
one.
Bears.
They would.
Yeah.
I mean, Trubisky's terrible right now.
Yeah.
He is not.
Trubisky's been bad.
Yep.
He fits that offense.
Mm-hmm.
He does. Yeah, and you know the unfortunate thing, if you think about it, guys, there's no two organizations more principled than Colin Kaepernick. He told from the beginning he's going to stick to his principles. He's going to die by his principles, and he's doing that.
Right.
Then you have the NFL. Stick to our principles. We're going to die by our principles, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those two parties usually don't meet success.
No,
when
I
they
agree.
come together.
Because Kaepernick would have had to compromise,
Mm-hmm.
and the NFL would have had to give up the power.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen.
No.
So no one wins. Yeah.
All right.
But you know what? Everyone wins when we preview a fun weekend of football. Let's go to what's on deck, Mike. Few teams on upset alert this weekend. The first team we're going to talk about, I don't really think's one of them, quite frankly, but a nice slate of games here, guys. Some divisional matchups and some teams that should be on upset alert, in my humble opinion. The big game, the one we need to talk about, of course, is number 9 Penn State at number 2 Ohio State. This is a noon game on Fox. It's being played at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. This is a high-stakes matchup. Penn State comes in. Their only loss is to Minnesota. And they've got to have this W to win that Big Ten East tiebreaker and get back into the good graces on the national picture. We got two top Ds in college football, period, colliding here. OSU is number 1. They're allowing 8.6 points per game, which is unbelievable. PSU, not number 2, but number 5, rather. They're allowing 12 points per game. Chase Young's going to be back, too, fellas. So... in the college football rankings, Ohio State's 2, Penn State is number 9. High-stakes matchup in Columbus. Blake, how can Penn State win this one? Give me that and your prediction.
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, they have to play much better against the pass on defense. Last 2 weeks, they have been not good. Indiana quarterback Peyton Ramsey, 31 of 41, 371 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tanner Morgan of Minnesota, 18 for 20, 339 yards and 3 touchdowns. They have not been good.
Plays,
Not been good in the secondary the last 2 games. And at this point, you're going to have to, on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to have to try to keep pace with this Ohio State offense, which is as prolific as they come in college football right now. KJ Hamler should be healthy. They're saying he's going to be healthy. That'll be a big step in the right direction. He's kind of Penn State's home run threat, which I think you're going to need 2-3 of those plays in this game to keep up. I really think you do. And the other thing Ohio State hasn't done yet, 6 of their wins are by 40 points or more.
Yeah.
2 by 31 or more.
Jeez. Unbelievable.
You got to force these guys to play 4 full quarters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't let them get out to a big lead, sit these guys down. You got to force them to be uncomfortable. And that means playing 4 full quarters, put them in a position where maybe they have to drive down and kick a field goal to win it, or they have to drive down and score a touchdown to win it.
Yeah.
Put them in a position they have not been in all year. And
that's the thing.
Test them in adversity.
Yep.
Is-
Final
is-
score prediction, too, my man.
These haven't been ultra high scoring the last couple years, and they've been both decided by a point. So I'm going to go with like a 38-28 Ohio State victory.
8 by 10. Okay, so they cover. They get it done. All right, Mike. How about OSU? How do they get it done?
First, I want to say I'm Penn State. I'm just pissed at the NCAA.
Oh, yeah.
Chase Young was already a beast, right?
Right.
Now he has more to prove. I don't want to be the quarterback who has to have that guy on my blind side. Like, I don't want the tight end and the tackle. We've seen some teams try to block him with the tight end only. Stupid. But anyways, I would just be mad. But if I'm Ohio State, I want to start fast. I want to sustain. Penn State is one of the top front sevens in the Big Ten. That is saying something, considering the Big Ten has some of the best defenses in the country. They're in the top. How many? Like Iowa, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Like the list goes on. So the key for the Ohio State defense, though, is they need to help their offense out and get 3 and outs. And I think this actually plays off of what Blake was saying a little bit. They want to make that. Penn State's going to want to make them sustain, get this game late, get it out there late in the game. Ohio State needs to keep their offense off the field so Penn State defense does not get rest. So they don't keep their breath. They can't make their adjustments and keep up with this fast, prolific offense. The other thing is Nittany Lions secondary. He mentioned it. They have been struggling. some of those issues have actually been miscommunications. You watch it, it's just a straight up blown coverage versus Indiana.
Yeah.
Guy's wide open. Nobody's 30 yards from him. That's
Yeah,
not like,
right.
hey, we just got
Missed
beat.
assignment.
Unless somebody falls down and get hurt. It's literally a missed assignment. And you know what? Ohio State starts fast. It's not going to be quiet in Ohio Stadium. The fans need to actually play a factor. You know, disrupt that communication from that safety to that linebacker. Disrupt it from the corner. All of a sudden, one guy rolls up, the other one also rolls up. You have a deep play.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a huge fact. And then stay on the pedal. They don't want to play 4 quarters. Get up, stay up, and don't let them back in it. Don't let them think they can even win this game. So, yeah. So, get points, keep getting them up, and then don't get complacent. Finish them off. I predict Ohio State 45-24.
Wow.
I think
big win.
this is I think this is one of the closest teams talent-wise to Ohio State in the Big Ten, but just because you're the closest doesn't mean you're close.
Right. No, I agree. I think we all can agree that Ohio State's going to win. I think it's going to be a sizable margin, somewhere 10 to 17 points.
Yeah.
So, comfortable win. Yeah. Let's talk NFL, guys. We got a fun one Sunday night. This is the Sunday night game, 8:20, Green Bay at San Francisco, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. San Francisco's favored by 3 right now. The over-under on this one's 46. A little bit of scoring success expected there. Green Bay comes in 8-2. They're first in the NFC North. They're coming off a bye, too, as well. They've won 5 of their last 6, so they are red hot. The last time they went to the West Coast, though, quite the opposite on the 14th of November here recently. Rodgers had a tough one. He was 11 of 26, and they had 184 yards on offense.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was rough. San Fran is 9-1. They're first in the NFC West. They're the second best defense in all of football, the best pass defense at 143 yards per game. The 5th best offense, too. This is a balanced team, man. Blake, let's start with you, my man. How does San Francisco win this one?
I think you just mentioned it. You got to have that defense come through. If you take away Green Bay's ability to throw the ball, I think it creates issues for them. Jones is a great running back, but I think they live and die by Aaron Rodgers. So, force them to run the ball a little bit, which that Niners defense has been good against a run too. So, make them play out of their comfort zone on offense is what I would say.
Do you think they're going to try to take Devontae Adams away as well?
Yeah, I think they will. They're gonna have and feel free to correct me. Do they have Richard Sherman do what he did in Seattle as far as stay to one side of the field, or does he follow?
I thought he had been actually not shadowing. I think he's been staying on his side.
I'll check into that. Is he okay? So that would be my immediate thought is they'll have him stuffed half the time. When Adams is on his side of the field. But yeah, I think that's what they'll try to do. Try to take Devontae Adams away, make him use guys like Jimmy Graham, Valdez-Scantling, make him use guys that he's not quite as comfortable with.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had success with them because Adams has been banged up this year. Yeah. So I think you just get them to play out of their comfort zone. And their defense has not been good, Green Bay's. So I think as long as you stick to your guns on offense, that running game's been pretty good out there, that by committee approach. Some pair of fresh legs in almost every carry. So,
final score.
Oh man, I'm gonna go regrettably with the Packers. It's gonna be a close one. I think low scoring. I think it's gonna be like a 2017 game.
Okay, all right. So the 49ers, boy, they're kind of the walking wounded right now. They've got 14 people in and out of their injury list, including Joe Staley and Kittle too as well, which is big fantasy implications there too as well. So Green Bay has to survive. They've got to win that turnover battle, kind of the simple things in football. Win the turnover battle, and finally got to make Jimmy G beat you. The Seahawks had a nice formula for Jimmy G.
Yep.
He had an interception and 2 fumbles in that game, and they only allowed 3.2 yards per carry. So your boys, Jimmy G ended up with 248 yards. I think San Francisco wins this in a close one.
Okay.
Not that much offense. 17-14.
Okay, so similar to what I thought.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's approach the bench. It is time for closing arguments, Michael. All right, gentlemen, may it please the court, it is time for our closing arguments. Counselor Beatty. please approach the bench. What do you have for us this week? Make your final statement.
I'd like the fans to come a little closer. I'm a little excited about sports in general, right? We said we were going to be a little more thankful.
Yeah.
I literally talk sports constantly with my friends. I talk with my family. I talk it with everybody.
Nice.
With all the rough stuff going on, it still has such a positive impact.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I'm thankful for sports. My
All
closing
right.
argument is be happy with it.
I like it.
Okay.
Counselor Blake, please approach the bench. Give us your
So-
final arguments.
So I was sent a video this week, and I think it's from last season, of Quentin Nelson, the guard from the Indianapolis Colts, screaming like a madman as he's pulling down the line, and he blows up somebody from the Jaguars. I don't know who it was. I'll go back and look. But I'm thankful for guys like Quentin Nelson making offensive line cool to play again. I feel it's a dying breed with today's offenses.
Yeah.
The spread, no more power trap ISO, none of that old school kind of hard-nosed offensive linemen. But guys like Quentin Nelson are doing their best to bring that back in the fold, making offensive linemen cool again. So I'm thankful for Quentin Nelson.
What a former lineman thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
today.
fat guy take. That's all right.
I
dig
like
it.
it. All right, guys. And as we mentioned earlier in the show, this is our last show before the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah.
We're going to be in next week, but this last time we'll all be together, if you will,
The full
as a
trio.
family. So
Yeah.
let's spread our thanks. And you know, if you look at the headlines of ESPN.com, they read like the USA Today. It's all very negative right now, right? There's not a whole lot to talk about, but you know, I'm thankful for backup QBs in the NFL. I think it's been a fun season, right? A lot of guys. Gardner Minshew's been a character.
yeah.
Kyle Allen. The Allens have had a big year. Kyle Allen, Josh Allen, the Allen,
Brandon
man,
Allen.
anyone. Yeah. Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen.
Absolutely. Guys of that like that. The backup quarterbacks, up to 14 have gotten a chance this year. So I'm excited about that. In college football, if you look at it, 5 conferences are represented in the top 10. I love that.
That's good.
I love it. That's a good thing. In the NBA, you got the spreading of power, right? We got duos, major duos now.
No more
Kawhi,
tree.
Paul
no more,
George,
No more big threes.
Braun and the Brow, KD and Kyrie. It's a fun time. We do have a lot to be thankful
Next year,
about.
KD, Kyrie.
Yeah.
Not this season.
Not this season, but you know what I'm saying. Don't break up my optimism here, Blake. Damn it. So it's a fun time, guys, and we are thankful for you for tuning in. Yes,
The way
It's
you
a fun
said that, who did he sound like a little bit? I thought you were going to Gruden on me on there.
it's a fun time, man. I like to have fun when I'm not making nightmares, man.
Mel, where do you think Tua falls in the draft?
Well, he's probably going to go 10 to 15 in that spot. Still very high quarterback. My only criticism of him, he throws a heavy ball. Ball takes a while to get there. Seems a little lofty. Might not play well in the NFL game with the fast DBs. That's all I got this week.
I love it.
Anyways, guys, we are thankful for you. Thank you for tuning into this show and thankful for your support of our sponsors. We mentioned one earlier. We got a nice contest going on with Saucy Brew Works. Check out our tweet from earlier in the day. We'll send that out in the morning too as well. Retweet and follow them for your chance to win $25 in gift certificates and tickets to tomorrow night's Monsters game here in Cleveland, Ohio. We're thankful for our partners in Big Play too as well. We have a great lineup for you every week. Blitz Football comes to you at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Monday nights, followed by the Big Play Cleveland Reflux Show at 9 o'clock. Tuesday, Birdley and BS is 7:30 p.m. Check them out for all the Baltimore and the Atlantic region sports. Wednesday night, we are the Big Play Podcast. You know who the hell we is. Thursday, Big Play Gaming, 8 o'clock to 10 with our buddy Mike McFadden. Follow us on social media. Our Twitter account is at the Big Play Podcast. Please follow us. At bigplay_.com is where you'll find all of our great articles and our shows, the Big Play main account. So follow them and follow at Saucy Brew Works, as we mentioned earlier. Next week, a change in format. Oh, boy. Big Play Jay, I will be out of here at our annual karaoke kegger party. That's a real thing.
Ooh.
Looking forward to that. Yep. Shout out to Uncle Greg.
That's
my
why the
man.
last few years I didn't know it was karaoke kegger.
Oh, that's why I always just look like 5 pounds of crap in a 2-pound bag on
He looks like
Thanksgiving
death
morning.
ran over him every Thanksgiving.
So do you not get to enjoy the meal then on Thanksgiving? Or?
No, well, we come back and Thanksgiving's with wifey's family, so
yeah. Okay,
so we
so
do
it's a
that.
little spread out.
It is a little spread out, but the cool thing is then my mom and dad are like, well, we're going to have you down for Thanksgiving dinner the next week. And I'm like, okay, triple meal, no big deal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Good time. So next week, Big Play Blake is going to slide into the host seat.
Giving my
wow,
best
he
shot.
took my jab. Do well, just don't do too well,
That's
right?
all right. I'll do my best, but not too good.
These guys.
If he had one job that he can't screw up while hosting, what would you say it is?
Don't say absolutely too much.
Absolutely.
That was a
Right.
little self-burn on himself.
Nah, it
There
was
we
a
go.
self-burn.
There you go.
I thought he
No,
was. I thought he was going to say the hello at the beginning.
Hello. Oh,
Are you
yeah.
gonna go
do
for
your
it?
own. Do
Yeah, no,
your
I'm
own.
going my own thing. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't have the
right.
pipes for that man. He's got
It's
me beat.
impressive, right?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I thought you
Fat-
wanted me to
hashtag
stop.
fat
it, to be
guy
fair.
props.
I tell you what, last show of the year, which is tentatively December 18th, I'll do hello for as long as I can.
Okay.
If
Can
I
we get
pass
can we
out,
get a
it's
timer on the screen, like right above his head.
We can get a timer going.
if I pass out though, Blake, it's a good thing you'll be warmed up as a host because you just have to slide in. So,
Yeah, I can take over the mic, and Mike can give you CPR.
and I'm fat and out of shape, so it's happening.
We'll do it like you do in practice. You know, you just move it down 20 yards. The trainers deal it. You guys will just see
We'll just
Jay
slide the
slowly-
set over
Yeah.
5 feet.
Jay just gets
We just start
slowly
thro-
carted off in the
We'll just start
background.
throwing the empty L Lager cans at him.
Yeah, right.
Don't be a
right.
Steeler. Make sure your cart's working.
Yeah. Hey, and
Oh.
shout out Blake and I, a couple plugs here too as well.
Yeah,
Blake and I will both be at the Akron-Hoban Massillon Washington game on Friday.
Yep, Info
Come
Cision
say
Stadium.
hello.
Yep.
We'll be there. We'll send out some
Lot
tweets.
9, hopefully.
Mike, you've got your sister-in-law's got a really cool book she just put out. You're going to be emceeing an event. Tell us about that.
I'm going to be emceeing Christmas trivia. For me, it's a little early, but I like my sister-in-law, so I'm cool with it. She wrote a book. It's called Ham Hands. It's a children's Christmas book for her niche is parents who just don't have it all together all the time. It's a really funny, it's a really nice thing. So we're gonna do Christmas trivia at the Bottle House tomorrow night in Cleveland Heights. Prizes, all this stuff. The books will be there, so I'll be emceeing that. It's a little different than sports, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
What's your opening line? What are you going to do?
Honestly, it's a little bit about the Christmas thing.
You're gonna say Playmakers at least once, aren't
Oh,
you?
yeah.
You should bring it out. Are you,
Should I just,
you need to
like,
plug the pod
completely
at
miss?
least one, or I'm gonna be pissed. And I'll ask wifey too about that.
Yeah. I'm thinking I
Check me
just,
out on
like, Do I just
Wednesdays.
go like complete heel and just be a real dick? Nope. not
I don't
gonna
know
happen.
about
it's
that,
a
dude. It's your
children's book.
sister-in-law.
I'm messing around. Do you think I really would do that?
What are you gonna do? Flip a table?
Tell him
flip
to
the table where her
Never mind.
books are at.
I don't want to say what I was about to say, just in case there's kids listening.
There aren't. So.
Probably not.
Wow.
Oh, don't do that.
No,
Don't
I'm
go
gonna-
there.
Yeah, I wasn't going there.
Whoa.
I'm saying that's the ultimate Grinch move, right? Is that right?
It is. You're already
Okay.
kind of a bah humbug about the holidays anyway. So.
I'm not.
It's just
Yeah,
after
you are.
Thanksgiving.
Let's make
Dude,
one
yeah,
thing
yeah.
clear.
After Thanksgiving.
Let's
So
make
against
one
this
thing
whole thing.
absolutely clear.
Yeah.
I am all for Christmas, holidays, but not until after Thanksgiving. Give me my day.
Mm-hmm.
Give me my day.
Okay.
I'm all for. I'm
That's
all
fair.
for the holidays.
Oh, cheers to that.
That's the
fair.
misconception is that I hate Christmas. I love Christmas. Christmas is great,
Yeah.
just not before Thanksgiving.
I agree.
Okay.
That's probably my opener, honestly.
All right.
Spoiler.
Well,
Perfect.
guys, thank you. I'm thankful for you since I won't see you guys next week. Thankful
Yeah.
for you. Thankful for being.
I'll see you Friday.
Yeah, I'll see you Friday. Mike, he's skipping out on our whole family for Thanksgiving because he's better than us. So.
I'm gonna go hang out with my friends in Vancouver.
Yeah, because nothing says Thanksgiving like going to Canada. So,
They have Canadian Thanksgiving. It just in like September.
what are you gonna eat? Poutine and
Oh, if I could eat some poutine. Oh my God.
dude, hit.
Oh, gravy on fries.
Wait, what did he just
cheese
say?
curds. Poutine, right?
Poutine.
Oh, I thought you said
Is it-
poutine. Anyways,
No,
Mike, it's actually potpourri, but go ahead.
I'm not gonna eat potpourri. Isn't there a show that they had somebody talk about eating potpourri? Am I thinking of, or am I making that up? Is
Yeah.
that just a
Was it
weird
the same
childhood
show where the
memory?
guy was in love with the inflatables? Like that.
yeah. Oh, I remember
Yeah.
that. Oh, God, man, we're going down a bad worm.
I
Lots
like
of-
this.
lots of
I
squeaking.
like where we're at. I like it getting weird at the end.
Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning
Fridge
in.
Bitch is back next week.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Jay's not here.
bring it back.
Let's go.
What the hell? That's kind of where I shine.
Send me your
Shit.
weirdest sports. Send us your weirdest anything.
whatever.
If you have weird holiday things, send
Oh,
those.
holiday traditions.
Especially if you thought they were normal growing up.
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
great.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a shit show next week. You gotta turn
He's
it
gonna
awesome
be
just for this.
wasted singing Journey.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, oh god, look at this idiot
He'll
right
be in
here.
the middle
Mike's
of
talking
small,
about
small town girl over
Right,
here.
I'm going to be in the middle. Someday love will find you.
Yes.
Man, that was pretty good. I didn't even have a pitch bite.
Spot on.
Anyways, for Big Play
All right.
Beats, for Big Play Blake, thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see ya.
I had the wrong button.